Okay, so after you launched the plugin registration tool, go to extension in that search for Power Platform. Okay,
Okay.
so that install this one, that Power Platform
Oh,
tools. Okay, so I have
okay.
already installed this one. So after install this extension, close the Visual Studio, then again open it and go to tools. You can see the option that is connect to Dataverse. Okay,
Okay.
so
Yeah.
just to click on this, then do you want to use this connection? Select this Windows will come. So after that, you can see the list of tables. These things you can see it in the Power Platform Explorer. Okay.
Okay.
So after that, go to the plugin assemblies in that. Oh, in Kitty in plugin, you can see that Power Platform Explorer, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Selvi.
So in that you can see the plugin assemblies. Then right click this one. Then install the profiler. Okay. So
Okay.
Mohit, can you right click? Okay. So now you can see the two options, that is refresh and uninstall profiler, because the Mohit is already installed the profiler.
Okay.
Okay. So you have to follow these steps for installing the profiler.
Okay, Selvi. I'll do it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Fine. Okay. So what are the steps in plugin registration tool means you have to create your new plugin project, and
Okay.
after that you have to in solution explorer add the new NuGet packages and add the right packages and rename the class file, add the business logic, then build the plugin, sign in the assembly, then register the plugin using the plugin registration tool and install profiler for first time, and then debug your plugin. So these are the steps. Okay. So
Okay.
just follow this one. And now Tamal will explain the pre-validation and pre-operation execution pipeline stages. Yes.
So I have a plugin here. This is the class library project I have created. And I have signed it the CRM training data SNK. So my scenario was an account have multiple contacts, right? Am I audible?
Yes. Yes.
So if the account got deactivated, then the account and contacts get deactivated. You can't activate the contact without the account get activated. So this was my scenario. So this is my plugin like prevent activate.
So Tamal, correct if I am wrong. Okay. So if the account got deactivated means then all the related contacts also got deactivated. That's the plugin scenario, or
No, Cindy, it's like prevent activation. Like
okay.
without the activation of account, the contact would not get activated.
Okay,
So
okay,
if
fine.
the account is in inactive state, you can't activate the contact.
Okay,
I will explain.
okay.
So
First, first one is pre-validation, right? You are going to or pre-operation.
yes,
This
first one is pre-validation. That prevent activities pre-validation.
okay. So I will remind that point. What is pre-validation means? It before the main checks and before the database transaction. That is the pre-validation. It does not require any security checks. Okay.
So it is executed before the validation. So doesn't include any security checks. So I deactivate that pre-research. and the contacts related to research. So I deactivated. So in my inactive contacts, we see Carla Yates and Kim Rocha are the contacts, and in the inactive accounts, I see research. So I haven't installed my plugin yet. So if I activate the plugin, activate the contact, so it gets activated, right? So I want to prevent that the contact should not be activated without the activation of account. This is my scenario. So I want to execute this. So this is the code for the plugin. So
So Shamal followed all the steps. He created a new project for plugin, and here he added the business logic, and he built the assembly, and he also signed the assembly. Then now he is going to register the plugin, right, Shamal?
yes, I will explain the code and register. So I have my Microsoft Core Assemblies NuGet package here. I have installed it. So please verify the core assemblies and the signing also while executing the plugin. So now get into my code. So first you have to use the references like SDK.query or like that. So first of all, you have to implement the interfaces like iPlugin context, I, iOrganization service factory, iOrganization service, and iTracing service. So yesterday Sindhu explained these concepts, right? So the context is used for running the plugin in the context, like which entity, like that. So iOrganization service was used for that organization, getting the organization, and service is used for which operation to do in that organization.
Sorry for the interrupt, Tamil.
Okay,
Organization
carry on.
service factory is yeah. Here you can see the iPlugin execution context, right? This is used for creating in CRUD operations, which I explained yesterday. I think Kirti and Mohit, this concept well, I think.
Yeah, Sindhu. And the next one, it is like for the logs, right? It was
Yeah.
for the creating the logs,
Eye
right?
tracing, eye tracing service is used for try
Create
catch.
log files. Okay.
Yeah. Those things will be tracked in Profiler.
Yeah.
Please go to those videos, guys, who didn't came yesterday. And here you can see high organization service factory is used for the pitching the appropriate environment. There will be an n number of environments in CRM. So we need to get an appropriate environment, right? We need to fetch which environment we are going to use. So in that purpose, need to use an organization kind of interfaces. Okay. Please go through those videos, guys, yesterday, which I explained. Then you can be clear. Okay. Please go ahead, Tam.
Okay, thanks, Sindhu. So I have used the initiating user ID to running the user's contacts whoever is running the plugin. So get that primary entity name is contact, right? So I want to prevent the activation of contact. So I use the primary entity name as contact. So I get the target entity. Then I want to retrieve that uh, contact record with that ID, right? So we'll explain while debugging. So get into the plugin registration flow. Then just build that code. So it's up to date. Register new assembly. CRM training.dml is my reference file. Click on register selected plugins. And the plugin is registered. Then go to the prevent activate. Click on create new step, register new step, and click on update. Because we are updating the status of the record, right? Inactivate to activate. So we have to use update. So contact entity, primary entity is contact. So we have to use contact. The filtering attribute is we have to select the filtering attribute while doing the update operation. So I have to use the state code.
Which field you are going to update, those fields you need to give in the filtering attributes.
Okay, if you missed any fields here and used it in the plugin means it shows some error. So I want to use the state code. Click on OK. The pipeline stage of execution is pre-validation. So I will register the mostly.
So yesterday I missed one point. So pre-validation and pre-operations are a synchronous operation. Post-operation only, it may be either synchronous or asynchronous. Thank you, Tam.
Okay, so I have registered the step now. So I start profiling now. So I will use exception. That's because I have an exception method here to throw the exception like the account and the account related with this contact is inactive. So use this exception method.
Debug can be done in the debug can be done in either two ways. One is like exception, another one is persist to entity. That is the recommended one. Okay. So again, so can you stop profiling and again do start profiling, Tamal? I will explain that one.
Okay, so
So please click start profile. So here you can see there is two options for profile storage. One is using exception, another one is persist to entity. So if you click exception means it will throw some business process error while triggering the event. So you have to download that error file and then for debugging purpose you have to save it in some some drive. Okay, so if it is persist to entity means it will capture the profile while triggering the event. Okay, so these are the two options, but the recommended one is persist to entity, but today Tamil will show the two options, exception one and persist to entity one. So please follow the steps. Okay, thank you, Tam.
okay, so I will try the one with exception method now. So okay.
So yesterday Sindhu debugged through the persist to entity. Okay. So today Tamil will show the two scenarios.
Okay. First, I will place the breakpoints here. Then I will try to activate that record now. So here, as Selvi said, there is a business process error, right? So this is the exception. So we have to download that log file. So it's downloaded like error details, some text. So for debugging, you have to attach the process like in the Visual Studio Code. You have to select the plugin registration tool. Right, to attach, then go to the plugin registration tool, then click on debug, select the log, select the downloaded error.txt file. This is the one. Selected. Then move to the DLL file, which is created while creating the plugin. This is source that was CRM Plugin, then debug and CRM Plugin.dll. Click on OK. Then if I click start execution, it will move to the Visual Studio Code and click on the first breakpoint. Like it goes right. Then click F10 to move further. Like so you will see which is the entity. Like the logical name of the entity was contact, which is right. So then click F10. So it will retrieve the contact record, which I will try to update. You will see which is the record on these things. This is the record ID, which I try to update. So you will get the attribute, like you get the value of the attribute by using this get attribute value, and you have to mention that type of the field, like if it is a string field or option set field or the lookup field. As it is a option set field, I have used option set value to get the stat code. Then click F10. So we'll check the contact is 0, it's active. If it is not equal to 0, it's inactive. So I want to prevent the activate of inactive contact. So if it is inactive, goes into the loop. Then get the parent customer ID. Parent customer ID is the lookup of account in contact. So you can get the attribute of lookup using this. Like you have to use entity reference. Entity reference is used for getting the lookup value, like ID, entity name, like that. Then move on to the next line. So I want to get that account record to check whether the account is in active state or in inactive state. So this is the account record. This is the ID of the account. So you can see what are all the attributes, like the research is the name of the account, like the address, name, and all the fields here. Then click F10. So if the account status is not equal to active, then throw the exception. So it will throw the exception and it will not activate that contact. So this exception can be handled in catch here. So click F10. So you can see here, right? So the account related if this contact is inactive, you can activate only if the liquid account is active. So just try it on the front end side. Now we stop the debugging. stop profiling now. So as you can see, create is in inactive state. So I'll try to activate this now. So you can see that error, the account related with this contact is inactive. You can activate only if the linked account is active. So if I activated it, now the contact will get activated. So I will try to activate it. So now there is no error like the account is not active. So this is the scenario. Any questions here? Yes.
No, Tamil, I'm clear.
So just try to get the values like as you tried in JavaScript, right? All the
Yes.
data types. So just try it in the plugin also.
Tamil, before you have shown that entity reference right in the code, in the plugin code.
Yes.
For that entity reference, it takes the entity name, which I mean the parent record and all. It takes that references and all. Tamil, I mean the ID and the
Yes. It's for lookup.
particular lookup.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. Right.
for
It's
the
for lookup.
particular lookup back.
Yes.
Okay,
You
fine.
can get that lookup. You can get that record ID entity type as you get in JavaScript, right? Entity type name of the record.
Yeah.
And the entity name, like in the entity type, you get entity name, right?
Yes,
If
yes.
the lookup is in account,
Yes,
you get
yes,
that
yeah.
account as
Name,
an entity
ID
type.
and all. Okay.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, Tamil. Thank you.
Okay. Now let's move on to the next one. So let's move on to the contact duplicate detection for pre-operation.
So what is pre-operation means? It before the main operation and inside the database transaction. That is pre-operation. Okay.
Here we have in security roles. So in pre-operation, we have in security roles checked.
Yes, it includes security and validation checks here. So if the exception gets thrown, the action gets rolled back if it is in pre-operation or pre-validation. So first understand that exception concept, right? So in event activation, so the action couldn't get completed because there is an exception here. So first understood the concept like exception so that you can understand.
So team, please try the hands-on what Tamil and Sindhu showed in our session. Okay. First try this one and then try. We will say some use cases.
Okay.
You have to try for all the three stages. That is pre-validation, pre-operation, post-operation. And post-operation synchronous should done and asynchronous should.
Okay. First I will explain the use case now. So click add item here. So it has two contacts, right? Kevin Martin and Tyler. So if I try to add another name in the add item like Kevin Martin, it will throw an error. So like a duplicate detection. So we'll try to add it in the plugin now. So it's you have to add the necessary things like context, organization service factory, organization service, tracing service before writing the plugin. Then you have to check that target entity what the target entity is here. So I will explain while debugging the. So it register new step here. So the message is create because it shows an error while creating a duplicate record. So create the primary entity is contact. So here you don't need to enter any filtering fields because it's a create message. So it is a pre-operation. Then click on register new step. So I will start profiling it now. So I use the exception method because it also have the exception to throw. So I'll use it for exception method to debug. So it start profiling. Then I will reattach the process now. Then now I will try to duplicate the record Kevin Martin now. So we have set the condition as the name, account name, and the email. If it has the same means, it will throw an error. So I will set the 3 as same. Then I will click save now. Just throws an error, right? So I will download the log file here. So it's here. Then we add the log file to the replay plugin execution. In the DLL file. Then I will click start execution now. So it will get into the file. Then click on F10. So it will show the entities contact now. So here is the condition. So if the attributes contains full name, email address, and the parent customer ID means get into the if condition. So if the both get true means it get into if condition. Then click on F10. So you get the parent customer ID here. This is the parent customer ID. This is the full name, like Kevin Martin. This is the email. So here, the previous one, you have seen the retrieve method, right? So I will show you now. So if you try to retrieve a single record means you have to use that entity logical name, entity ID, and the column set. What are all the columns you want to retrieve? So it's like JavaScript, right? So if you want to retrieve the multiple records means you have to use the retrieve multiple. So there are two methods for retrieving multiple records in plugins. One is query expression, another one is switch XML. So query expression is the object-oriented way to retrieve multiple records. So it's a query expression is an object. You have to initialize for which entity you have to retrieve records. So you have to set the columns. Which are all the columns you want to retrieve? Like full name, email, and parent customer ID. I want to retrieve that. So I want to set a condition, right? So I want to set a condition, right? Because the full name is equal to the uh, full name is equal to Kevin Martin, right? So I get that full name all before, right? Full name, parent, customer ID, and email. Right? So I want to check whether these name exist or not. So the full name is equal to Kevin Martin, and the email address equal to kevin@adatom.com, and the parent customer ID is equal to Adatom Corporation, that entity in the account. Okay, so have to uh, retrieve using entity collection so that it collects like entity like multiple records. You have to use an entity collection so that you can store it and get the count and all. So as like the query expression, you have to use fetch.xml also. So I have used multiple cards here. So use the fetch.xml and modify it for you for adding that dynamic values here. So I have said that both of the things do the same thing. So I want to demonstrate both the things. So I have used fetch.xml also. So I have to check the full name is equal to the full name I get the email and parent customer ID. So here I have used a new fetch expression within the function. You have to use that fetch XML here. So then that's the process here. So the count is 1, right? So the same is for the fetch XML also. The count is 1. Both of the things return the same, but you can't add link entity in query expression. So for that, you can use fetch XML for ease of use. So there is another record with the same name and same email and under the same account. It will throw an exception. So it will check for that. So the count is 1, right? So there is another record with the same name and same account name. So it will throw an exception here. So it will catch the exception and throw it here. So the contact with the same name, email already created under this account. So stop debugging here. I will start profiling now. The record is not getting saved because it's rollback due to the exception. So now if I try to save, it will throw the same exception here. So is there any doubt, guys, for contact duplication in plugin? Am I audible now? Is there any doubt in
No,
this?
Tamil, no.
Okay.
Tamil, can you go into the code once again? Can you scroll up? Which look? Scroll up. Okay, here in the first debugger, you can see like context.input parameters, right, guys? We need to get in like that context.input parameters or output parameters or share variable. We need to use these things means we have to use iPlugin execution context. Then only you can able to use this. Tamil can able to hide that iPlugin execution context. Come in. Okay, stop debugging that. Yeah, I can see that, right? I can see that those things is getting error. Context at input parameters, it's getting error. So that is the purpose. We are using any context means we need to use a plugin execution context. Inside the context, you can see the contents target. What is the purpose of using target means target is useful for getting an entity fields or columns. Those things will be easy to get. For getting those things, we need to using target. So the purpose of using target here. Clear, guys? Clear?
Yes, Sindhu. Yeah, got it.
Yes, Sindhu. Okay.
So Kamal will explain about the pre-image, post-image concept in plugin.
As Sindhu said, like context at input parameters, right? So here you get the. So these are all the things you get in context dot input parameters like entity, secondary entity, and attributes and all. So target is which in which entity you have to get execute the plugin. So which are all the things you get in the target. So let's move on to the pre and post image. So pre and post image is the snapshots. Like if the record get updated from A to B means, so you can know from which name to which name it got updated. Like if the record get updated from A to B, so you get that before snapshot is the pre image and the after snapshot is the post image. Yeah. Is it understood, guys?
Yes, Tamil. The concept is clear.
I did a plugin in pre and post image to demonstrate the same in the post operation. So registered a new step here. So this is the update plugin. So the primary entity is account. Then so if it is an update, we have to give the filtering attribute. So we set it as a account name. as a post operation. Register the new step here. So I have registered a new step here, but I want to implement the pre and post image, right? So I want to register a new image here, right? Pre and post image. So the name is account name. So the attribute is account name here. So I want to get that account name before and after the update. So I have registered the image here. So I will explain the plugin now. So if the entity logical name is account names, we'll get into the condition. Then you can get that pre-entity and post-entity images like this in the context. So in the execution context, you get the pre-entity image. So this account name is, I gave it as the image name, right? So this is the thing you have to give it that pre and post entity images. So and get that account name, right? So I have added only one parameter here. You can add multiple also. So to get that name, you have to use that get attribute value inside the pre and post image. So it's a normal string. So I have used it as a string and get that name here. So it executes after I get updated the account name. So I will try to debug it through the persist to entity method. So
So now Tamil will explain about the second method of debugging.
okay, so you have to use that string only in the trace logs. So I have to use it dynamically from the before update and after update. So I use the dollar and the string here to embed dynamically. Start profiling. Then I will give persist to entity here because there is no exception here. So I will try to debug through persist to entity. This is the recommended way also. Then I'll try to reattach the process. So now I will try to update research record. So I will add research new and say it won't throw any exception as it is a persist to entity debugging. So now let's
So it won't throw any error, but it captures the profile once the event got triggered.
sorry I was talking again. So this is the profile. So you have to go to the plugin trace log using the settings. Move on to the plugin trace log here. So in the message I've seen that account name changed from trade research to trade research new. But if you want to debug that means you have to use the profile location and select the profile that got catched, right? So this is the one. You have to select it, select the DLL file.
So sorry, Dhaval, if you have used that exception method means you have to here in the profile location you have to locate your error log details. Okay, so if you give the persist entity means you have to give that profile captured profile. That is the main difference. Thank you, Dhaval.
Okay, so for selecting the file means error log file means you have to click on the three dots here. So for selecting the profile, you have to click on that upward arrow file icon to select the profile. So why are we using profile or the error log file means we can't debug on the fly the plugin as like we did in the JavaScript. So it got catched as a profile. We can debug after the action got completed or it gets rolled back. So we are using that. So it's just information. So get into the condition. So click on F10. So if it is an account, you get into that. Why are we using traces means whether it get into the condition or whether it gets stopped by seeing it without debugging, so that we use the tracing. So
Sorry, Tamal, sorry to interrupt. So, if you are working on a large project like banking project means that time they won't allow you for debugging purpose. So the tracing that time the trace will help us. So where we got error or where we got stuck like that we can track using the trace logs. Okay.
you can see. So I have used start and end here, whether the plugin got executed from start to end. So to check whether it got executed from start to end. So I will use the traces from the start and end here. So in the pre-entered images, in the values here, you get that ID here, the record ID. So I get that tray research and it get updated to the research new. Right. So get executed and move to the plugin registration toolbar. Any queries here, guys?
So guys, that's all about plugins. So plugin session got over. Tomorrow onwards we will touch the workflows. Okay, so after that workflow got completed means we will move on to the Power Platform concepts like Power BI, Power Automate, and Power Apps.
Guys, please try to use that all fields to get the values of the all fields using plugin. So it will be very useful